in terms of the curriculum, there's been significant changes, a lot more opportunities for students to do things like BTEC programs and mixed programs available at BTEC at level 3. And education in its widest sense, students now have a lot more options than they used to have. When I was your age. When I was your age, it was either you went to college and you went and continued your education, or you went to get a job. Whereas now, students at the age of 16 can do apprenticeships, they can go to colleges that specialise in different things, they can continue and do the traditional A-level route if they wish. So lots and lots of changes there in terms of education. I think, if I'm honest, I think your age group of students work far harder than my generation ever did. I think you have to, because it's higher stakes now. You need degrees to do a lot more work to get certain job roles in society. So you do work harder, and you're taught better. I'd say that the quality of teaching and learning that you have, you're lucky in a sense that you're probably working with the best qualified generation of teachers that we've ever had in this country, and that means that there's no accident really that results keep improving because of the hard work that you're doing as students, but also because we've got very well qualified and fantastic teachers that are able to produce the goods on the day for you.
The quality of teaching has definitely upped because of the pressures nowadays to get young people into top universities and into employment. So I think the quality of teaching has had to sort of rise to meet those challenges.
We've seen around about 25% cut in funding for further education and sixth form colleges.
Tuition fees are set to rise once we leave the European Union. Over 120,000 EU students across the UK.
Nobody really knows. I suppose one thing that could be a bonus to the further education sector is if immigration is restricted and people from the European Union are no longer coming into this country to take up jobs, then there is an imperative for us to make sure that we have very well skilled people in our own country.
Money that we're going to lose from being part of the EU will undoubtedly change education, in that there's going to be less money in the pot, which means less teachers and less resources, and I think that can only have a bad effect.
Schools are getting it for the first time now, really realising how difficult it is to deal with a shrinking pot of money. The difference within sixth forms and FE is we've been used to that because it's been going on for longer in our sector. And then another factor is mental health. In terms of education, full stop, we've seen an increase in the number of students who are finding themselves in difficulties, and we have to make sure that we've got those support systems in place. But again, there is no funding that follows those students. We've got to make sure that we do that out of the funding that we get from the government, just generally. Technology is a benefit to students these days. Things like virtual learning environments, apps on your phone, in terms of being able to be assessing like Kahoot, all those things that you use every single day are great. Obviously, the fact that you can word process all your work. In my day it was all handwritten. You had to do it in that way. The internet, actually, the first time I saw the internet was when I was at university. The downside of that is you've got to have a filter in your head to identify what's the right information and what's the wrong information. That's a big thing, and that's a bit of critical thinking that I think everybody needs to have. But it's definitely a bonus. It will never, in my mind, replace the expertise of a teacher. You know, it's part of a teacher's toolkit in the same way that group work is or assessment for learning is. I can't imagine a day where we do away with all of our teachers and you just sit in front of screens. I think that would be a very sad day, because there's some things you can't learn from a computer, like debate and discussion. You know, it can be factual, it can be a repository for information, and certainly helps you in terms of assessment. But I think ultimately, technology, whilst a good thing, will not replace teachers. It'll be part of the way in which they work in the future.
Yeah, and you need feedback from tutors to improve yourself as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
With the recent occurring topic of Brexit, how do you feel Ashton Sixth Form will be affected?
That's an enormous question. Well, nobody really knows. I suppose one thing that could be a bonus to the further education sector is if immigration is restricted and people from the European Union are no longer coming into this country to take up jobs, then there is an imperative for us to make sure that we have very well skilled people in our own country, and the only way you're going to do that is by investing in education. So perversely, Brexit could benefit further education, because the government will have to invest in training schemes, education, making sure that we train people in our own country so that they're ready to go into the jobs which are going to be vacated by the European Union nationals that will be here in a few years' time. So that could be a benefit actually for colleges such as Ashton Sixth Form College. We may get some bounce from that, and that could be a truly positive thing. I think Ashton Sixth Form College and its affected by Brexit, nobody knows what's going to happen to budget, so of course the doomsday scenario for us is that because a lot of money is going into other things, education again becomes a poor relation, and we see a reduction in our funding because other things are seen as a priority. But again, who knows with that one. And the one thing that would be is an unfortunate thing is if Brexit started to bring out some of those feelings that people might have under the surface, because you know, one of the things that happened nationally after the Brexit vote is there was an increase in things like hate crime and people voicing opinions which a few years ago they would probably been very embarrassed to hold and to voice. And we did have a little bit of an issue here just after Brexit with one or two issues with racist graffiti. So one of the things that I'm hoping won't happen through Brexit is that we get any of that again, and that people fully understand that, you know, although we're out of the European Union, we are still European. We're still part of that globalised economy and the systems. You know, and everybody is just as valuable as everybody else, and valued in the same way. But in terms of the future for Ashton Sixth Form College, further education and Brexit, that's a big topic. I think it's just a case of seeing what comes from the government after the election, which obviously is going to be taking place on June the 8th this year.
Interesting. If you have anything else to add, we've got time. If you wish.
Do you want what do you want me to talk about?
Do you have anything else?
Can I just cancel the pause now, Alan?
Yeah.
Yeah.